You're just gonna hear a heater in the background subtly. So just please bear with me because it is what it is. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's Joan here, and today's video is going to be a film photography Q&A. I asked on my Instagram story for everyone who wanted to participate and wanted to ask me a question that I would answer it on a video here on YouTube. So here I am, and let's do this. I'm gonna start from the beginning. And I have my phone here and we're gonna do this. Okay, so first question is from someone I don't know. However, I don't like to ruin or butcher people's names, so I'm gonna try my best. First person is Jesus Ruelas Garcia. Question is, tell us about one of the best pictures you almost took but somehow missed or messed up. I would like to say that most of the times when those moments that you appreciate or that I appreciate, and I get so lost into the moment and I really want to capture it, but for some reason, even if I capture it, it doesn't turn out the way and how I experienced it. Usually are photos of loved ones that are very close to me, and for some reason I just can't capture them sometimes in the moment of what is going on. And especially in relationships, many times I like to take a photo of them, and for some reason they don't turn out exactly how I envisioned it, but to me they are the best photos, the candid ones that where they don't even know that I'm taking a photo, but then they don't turn out exactly how I want it because usually I'm so focused on photos that are more posed or where they're actually paying attention and looking at the lens. So I would probably think that. Or most of the times I could also think maybe when you're doing street photography. I'm not necessarily or want to consider myself a street photographer, but when I do try and attempt to go on streets and take photos, most of the time, unless I'm running after somebody to make sure that I get the photo, 9 out of 10 times it doesn't turn out exactly how I want it, and I would have thought it would have been the best photo, but it was a missed opportunity. And probably many people relate to that situation. Next few questions are from Andy Dreads BMX. Andy is someone who has helped me with previous projects of mine using After Effects, so I'm very thankful for knowing him and for his kindness. And so his first question is, have you tried infrared photography? To answer that question, it's yes and no. Why yes? Because I actually bought this little camera, which is a lomography Baby Diana, lets you shoot 110 film, and I bought it with red scale film, which I believe, if I'm not wrong, is infrared film. And the results from that did not turn out good. I don't know. There's many possibilities of why the outcome didn't go well when I brought it to the lab, and it's hard to go to a photo lab that still develops 110 film, so it's a whole thing. And I just wanted to try it because I've never done it, and then also I saw the results from others online, and then that got my curiosity going. However, I didn't get really any results from that roll of film, so I still feel like I haven't really truly tried it. So that's why it's a yes and a no, if that makes sense. Next question that he asks, do you enjoy being paid, or would you rather do it for the love? First off, I don't know that many people who doesn't enjoy getting paid for what they love to do. If you get to do that, it's an amazing and fantastic feeling, especially if you get to have a job where you photograph with film. It's even better. And I know there are some people who can't even think twice with the idea of getting paid to do photography. They just solely do it because it's a hobby, they're passionate about it, and it's interesting every time I come across some random person on the street and they think that just because I have a camera in my hand, it's a hobby, but it's not, if you know me, because that is my career. So for me, I think personally, of course, I enjoy getting paid for doing what I love to do, and I wouldn't want it any other way. And it's even better now that I get to shoot film on video and get paid for it. So think about that. And lastly, his other question is, have you tried half frame? It's freeing having 72 shots on a roll of 36. To answer that question, I have not. I have not tried doing this half frame situation. I actually just recently saw it yesterday, which is the coincidence to this question, and it looks cool. And it's definitely just a different way in photographing, like he mentioned. However, for me, I've just never took an interest. But now that I've seen results from other people, I have looked into it. However, I don't know yet. Probably soon. Never want to say no. It'll probably maybe happen in the future now that it's brought up. And I actually haven't seen anyone make a video on it. So if you're watching this, maybe you can make a video on it and beat me to doing it. And that's pretty much it. Haven't tried it, but it looks interesting. Next question is from Untitled Photo. The question is, do you consider Instagram the most important medium for photography? So to answer that question, I do not think Instagram is the most important medium for photography. It might be something easy to do, post your work on Instagram, let's say, but for me, it's going to always be print. I enjoy going to bookstores and looking at even, let's say, the newspaper or magazine still, and looking at photos and how they are printed in just paper format. And I understand why many would say, yeah, Instagram totally, because it's on the internet, it is possible and it's able to be seen everywhere around the world much faster than it being on print. However, I feel that if you are a photo connoisseur where you just take in as much knowledge, or you've studied history of photography, or you've gone to museums, or you've just literally consumed as much photo knowledge as possible, you definitely probably mostly appreciate printed photo work than seeing it online. And the fact that it's so disposable, being on Instagram, that you could just be lost in a whole saturated place with tons of photos, I feel that it's not the important place or important medium. I think that print will always be the important medium for photography. And especially the fact that I created a photo book and I printed in the darkroom, nothing will ever replace that for me. And that's just my thoughts. Next question is from Phil. Hi, Phil. Daddy Phil. Do you like grain or does it bother you? That is a very complex sort of situation. And I remember when I was studying photography in college, I remember they were doing a comparison of different types of black and white film. And I remember looking at Tri-X, T-Max, and HP5. And I remember when I looked at the projector screen, I was like, I'll never forget this. I was like, I want to shoot HP5 because I know that it looks so nice and so clean, and I didn't like the grain that's on it. However, I think when it comes to digital photos, I think it's nice to have a little grain because it makes it not too clean looking. But when it comes to film, I like that fine grain look. I don't like that super grainy look. And I just shot something that has a ton of grain. And it looks cool from afar, but looking at it closely, it makes me go crazy. I don't like it at all. So those are my thoughts when it comes to grain. Wonder what you guys think. But the fact that I know so many people shoot with Ilford HP5, yeah, I think a lot of people don't like grain. Okay, next question from Ave.Line. Ave.Line. Where do you develop your film, or have you tried developing on your own? Okay, to answer both of those questions, when it comes to my process after shooting and finishing my roll of film, I don't develop my own negatives. I go to the lab always to process my film. Why? Because most of the time I have a lot of rolls to go through, and yes, there are some people who will just straight up just develop their own film no matter how many rolls. But for me, a lot of the times the photos that I shoot have a deadline where I need to have them done just really fast, time sensitive type of work. And so I don't really honestly have time to develop, but I do know how to develop. I haven't developed film since I was in college studying photography, and that was X amount of years ago. And then now recently going back to school and finishing, I took some darkroom classes, but even still I didn't go back to developing my negatives. I just would go to the lab, drop it off, get it processed there, and then I would just print at school. Just because it just made time so much faster for me to get things done for the different deadlines that I have. And so I really admire my friends out there who develop their film and do the whole 9. I scan my own negatives, but I don't develop my own negatives. And there was a time, I'll admit, recently where I bought all the gear to make a developing film video, and maybe eventually it will finally happen where I'll do it the right way. But something happened, there was a mishap, and had to not use the content that we made for that video because it just didn't work out. Whole story. But that is a plan of mine to do on this channel, is to do a developing my film type of video. Just haven't gotten through it again, and that's the truth. Next question is from Dion Lubraski. I hope I said that right. Please don't get mad. I am trying. Question is, what next project? Question mark. The answer to that, I get that question a lot, especially after the Caveman Built My Skateboard project. I'm very thankful, again, that people are anticipating and wondering whatever it is that I am working on next. And as always, an answer that I tell people is I can't share anything yet. There are things that I have been planning. As always, I am someone who jots down a lot of ideas on my phone or in my journals, and I'm always brainstorming. But I am someone who likes to just surprise people with what I create, do those drops, let's say, where all of a sudden you're like, whoa, like I didn't even know she was doing that, and blah 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 blah, whatever, however you feel about it. So that's me. And so as of right now, the only thing that I can share is that I'm really happy that I finally can share my photo book out to the world. But other than that, anything that's like new, you probably will not hear anything or see anything on social media, because I just like to surprise and keep the anticipation going. Okay, next question. Bueno Power. Hi, Bueno Power. That's like an awesome username. What Asian photographers are on your radar? Question mark. Asian photographers. Yikes. I know people that I admire who are way older than me. And the first person for some reason I think of is Lino Broca, but that's a Filipino filmmaker that has passed away. But if you've never seen his films, you should definitely watch them. So good for me personally. And that's a heavy question. If you don't know Han, look up Han Fawn on Instagram. And who else? I think of Ren Hang, even though that person has passed away, but definitely will always have amazing work. And I don't know, is that bad? If you know any Asian photographers out there, please comment down below. I honestly don't look at people's work based on nationality or ethnicity. I just literally look at their work because I just admire the content that I see, and not necessarily because of their background. And director of photography / cinematographer that I could recommend is Jeremy Snell and Rina Yang. They are also Asian. So, yeah. Let's see. Okay. Next question is from Antonio Bunt. Will you film on Super 8 or continue with more 16mm? I think that's pretty cool that people associate with me with 16mm than Super 8, even though I've done both and my videos that I've shot are on YouTube, and there's nothing wrong with Super 8, but there's just something about 16mm for me that's always going to be now a personal love. And if anyone obviously can tell, I really love my Bolex camera. And so to answer that, speaking of future projects, there is something in mind that I want to do next that is going to be shot on Super 8. Usually I use my Super 8 camera for just traveling and just small here and there projects, and then for serious things I in my mind comprehend to use 16mm, but we'll see. I have stuff that I want to do in Super 8. That's all I'm gonna say. Next question is from the lovely Cat Beats. Hi Cat. Her question is, who is your favorite cat? She actually put who is you favorite cat, but I could pretty much think that she meant who is your favorite cat. My favorite cat is you, Cat. And there's no bias. There is no other cat that I know. You are the only one, and so that makes you special in my life. So the next segment is going to be a cute and special one. I asked my friend Chris Visser to ask me a bunch of questions, and this is going to be the Visser rapid fire question segment. So let's do this. I don't even know what the heck he asked me. Okay. 120 or 35? 120. Black and white or color? Color. Do you prefer when you... What? Do you prefer when others take your portrait or when you do self-portraits? I prefer self-portraits. Favorite print you've ever made in the darkroom? Any print of Iggy is my favorite print that I've ever done in the darkroom. Or the one from Venice Beach that actually Chris Visser owns. That is maybe one of my favorite prints that I've ever done in the darkroom. One camera, one lens, one film stock. One camera, Bolex. One lens, maybe the 10mm film stock. 50D. No, I lied. 500T. Have you ever shot 35mm motion film? No, but I just assisted on set with someone who did. And do you want to, or is 16mm enough for you? No. After working on set with 35, one day I gotta shoot with 35mm motion picture. Next question. You have the last roll of film ever to be made. What are you shooting with it? Oh man, I don't even know. Probably each person that's really close to me. I swear to God, I would love to capture on 36 exposures, 36 portraits of the people that I love. individually on 120. And oh man, I hate this. You get to photograph JT, meaning Justin Timberlake. What gear are you using? 16mm or 35 Bolex or a freaking airy freaking flex camera. Jeez, and still 500D. Funniest film fail you've had? Oh man, I can't recall necessarily was my funniest film fail. I just know that someone I asked to use my point and shoot camera years ago during Fashion Week. I was like, hey, like, can you take a photo of me and like my mentor, like this person that I really, really admire till this day for any of my fashion work. And so I asked this person to use my point and shoot camera to take a photo of us. And the reason why it's the funniest film photo fail is because the person that is standing next to me, his face gets chopped off in the photo, but not mine. So it looks so weird, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, it's the first time and only time I finally get to get a photo with this person, and then their face is cut off. And yeah, you can only imagine when I got the negatives or the scans back, and then I was so disappointed. Anyways, and last question from Visser: how much cooler is Kat than me? Kat is much more cooler than a lot of people, but when it comes to you, I want to say you guys are all in the same coolness boat, so don't put me on that spot. But other than that, Kat is pretty cool, and you are cool too. And that's it. That is the Visser rapid fire question segment. And so thank you, Chris Visser, for asking me all of those questions. And geez, I don't know how people do that. I feel that I have to really sit with my thoughts first and then answer these questions, and then I'm just like brain freeze, as if I drank a Slurpee or something. Anyways, I just want to say thank you to each and every one of you who has asked me a question. Hope I was able to answer your questions. And so stay tuned till the next video, and sayonara. It's the end of the video, so don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. If you haven't, it will help me in the long run. Okay, bye.